Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Diamond Daily on YesNetwork.com. Bob Lorenz along with Jack Curry, Joe Oriema right behind the camera, so that's always good stuff when that happens. Jack, Javier Vazquez making the start today for the Yankees. What do you think of his performance?
You know what, Bob? It was interesting. He goes out there, his first pitch is a Yankee this spring, and I'm sure he's excited about it. And Jimmy Rollins takes this fastball and drills it over the fence. But I love the way Vazquez came back and competed after that. If I'm the Yankees, I'm much more excited about the changeup that he threw to strike out Chase Utley, a left-handed hitter, than I'm worried about the home run to Jimmy Rollins. He's going to give up home runs, but Vazquez struck out 4 batters. He came back and got 6 guys out after the home run. And of those 4 strikeouts, 3 of them were on different pitches. He used curveball, changeup, fastball. I thought for the first time out, very impressive.
The storyline, as we know, with Vazquez, second time around with the Yankees. First time around in 04, very good in the first half of the season, not good in the second half of the season. And Yankees fans remember that. How different is he, and has he put that out of his mind?
You know what? I don't think he's put it out of his mind, because we talked about that, he and I, and he said, yeah, a lot of people don't remember that I kind of was a pretty good pitcher in the first half of the season, and then I slumped in the second half. But I think he's a better pitcher now. I think he relies a little more on his off-speed stuff. He was one of the best pitchers in the National League last year, and the Yankees are asking him to be the 4th starter in their rotation. So I really think that this was a great move by Brian Cashman, and I think Vazquez is going to be huge for them this year.
Now, you can make the argument that that was a different era of Yankees baseball, and I say that because the clubhouse culture was different. We saw it change last year. Did you talk to Vazquez at all about what he notices from then as opposed to now?
You know what, Bob? It was interesting. After he came out of the game, he did his post-game interview with some of the writers, and he kind of brought it up. He was asked about the difference, and he just said, I think it's looser. He said, I just think it's looser in here. What that tells me is it's probably a little looser, but I bet you it also tells me that he's more relaxed. When he came here the first time, there was a lot more pressure on him. For him to bring that up in the first few weeks of spring training, that he already sees a looser clubhouse, that tells me that he's just more relaxed in that clubhouse.
All right, let's talk about a couple other things. Mariano Rivera takes his first bullpen session today, and I heard him use the word delicious with that. First time I think I've heard Mo use the word delicious with anything.
It was hilarious, Bob. As Mo walked through the clubhouse and the writers were trailing him, and I was with him, we wanted to interview him, the first words out of his mouth were, yes, outstanding, guys, delicious, bueno. So that's how he described himself. And when it's Mariano Rivera, you say, yeah, it probably was. And so he did feel great, he said. He's going to take it slow, as he always does. He kind of also had a little joke, said he threw a changeup or 2 today. We all know when it counts, this guy's going to throw the cutter. But you know what he reminded everyone, and it was interesting that he did it today with the Phillies in town. He said, hey, I struck Ryan Howard out on a changeup in the World Series. Don't forget about that. But he's on tap for Yankee fans to mark this on their calendar. He'll make his first spring training start March 17th. And, Bob, that's if he can't convince Joe Girardi to maybe push it back to the 18th, because the 17th is a road game. Yeah. And Mariano always jokes about how he likes to stay in the home games.
Absolutely. Got to stick close to home. Now, we also know, same story for Damaso Marte, first bullpen session. What came out of that?
Same thing. He felt good, again, with the Yankees, taking it slow with him. I think he will probably pitch next week. I think Joe Girardi is targeting Tuesday for him. He doesn't have as much clout as Mariano, so I don't know if he'll be able to talk his way out of it.
Do you think that he's had a chance to sort of at least physically bounce back from last year? We know that he was hampered through, the first 4 months of the season, I think, and then he showed up late and was a great contributor.
Right. I think he has, and I think that he is one guy, Bob, when you look at what happened in that postseason, if there's one guy that can pull something out of that postseason and take it into 2010, it's Damaso Marte. He ended up being a huge weapon for the Yankees in the postseason. If you look at their bullpen now, I mean, obviously Rivera, Marte, Chan-Ho Park, and whoever loses to Hughes Chamberlain. Those are your 4 definites. I mean, I know people would say Dave Robertson too, but he still has options. So Marte, huge part of what the Yankees want to do in 2010.
Final question, let's talk about a hitter, Nick Johnson, back in game action. We know that he tweaked his back with the whole spikes on the mat situation. How's he feeling? What did he say?
You know, Nick Johnson said he was fine after the game. I talked to him before the game, and he was just anxious to get going, Bob. I mean, I think he's a little embarrassed by the fact that he even had this injury and the injury history that he has. And again, Brian Cashman said the same thing to him that he said to Chan-Ho Park. Listen, you've made the team. Don't push it too hard. But I will say this, because Nick made the mistake of wearing those cleats instead of the turf shoes that one day, I'm not sure how much we're going to see him on the field. I think Joe Girardi is going to leave him at DH for most of the spring.
Just keep him healthy, get him in that 2 spot when the season begins April 4th. All right, that's it for Diamond Daily. Of course, you can go to YesNetwork.com. We'll keep you updated on everything happening down here in Tampa.